Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. So yesterday we started with chapter 8, that is useful and harmful microbes. Yesterday we started with the study of some useful microbes. We studied about lactobacillus and rhizobium. Did you go through it? Okay. Now today we will be doing with the next useful microbe, that is yeast, on page number 90. The activity, what you have to do, you have to mix a spoonful of yeast. Okay, you get yeast in the market in the form of small granules, that you have to bring and put it into water, lukewarm water, in a bottle, and keep it for some amount of time. What you have to do, you have to fix a colorless transparent balloon in the mouth of the bottle. What will happen after some time? After some time the balloon will get filled. Okay, which gas is formed? The gas formed is carbon dioxide. Okay, that process is a fermentation. What is happening in that water, in that solution which is containing a little amount of sugar? What is happening in that solution? It converts carbohydrates, that is sugar, in the solution to alcohol and carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide will get filled in that balloon, and the balloon will get filled, it will get inflated. Okay, and if you pass that gas, that is carbon dioxide gas, through lime water, the lime water will turn milky. This is a confirmatory test which is done in laboratories to find out which gas is given. Okay, if the gas which is produced is carbon dioxide, then it turns the lime water milky. Okay, so here also, if you pass the gas which is formed in the balloon through a lime water solution, it will turn milky, which shows that the gas formed is carbon dioxide. And a reaction in which the carbohydrates or any reactant is getting converted to form alcohol and carbon dioxide in absence of oxygen, such reactions is called as fermentation. This term we had studied in the other lecture also about lactobacilli. What does lactobacilli do? Lactobacilli converts the lactose sugar into lactic acid. That also take place in absence of oxygen, so it is a fermentation reaction. So the yeast carries out fermentation reaction in a sugar solution. Okay, now what kind of organism is yeast? Yeast is an heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means it depends upon others for its food. It is not autotrophic. That means it cannot carry out photosynthesis. So it is heterotrophic, it is unicellular. Unicellular means it consists of only one cell. Eukaryotic means it is having a distinct nucleus. Okay, eukaryotic, and it reproduces asexually by the process called as budding. You have been given a diagram on page number 90, figure 8.3. Okay, figure 8.3, that diagram is important. They will give you the diagram and ask for labeling, otherwise they will ask to draw the diagram. You may mark all these parts in those paragraphs. Now towards the end, on page number 90, there is a question, how is bread made? Okay, how is bread made? Bread is made using the dough. Okay, the dough, and into which the yeast is added. The yeast carries out fermentation reaction and produces carbon dioxide, due to which the bread becomes spongy. Okay, now the next on page number 91, do you know question? Do you know box? Often alcohol is produced along with sugar in sugar factories. Molasses is produced from sugarcane juice. It is rich in carbohydrates. Now what do you mean by molasses? The waste left after removing juice from sugar cane, that is called as molasses. Okay, after removing the sugary juice from sugar cane, whatever is left, that could be roughly called as molasses. Okay, actually chemically if we see, molasses is a different thing, but for you to understand the waste which is remaining after the removal of juice from sugar cane, it could be called as molasses. Now molasses is produced from sugar cane juice. It is rich in carbohydrates. Molasses is fermented with the help of yeast called Saccharomyces. Now Saccharomyces is the chemical name of yeast. Okay, you may underline and write Saccharomyces means yeast. Okay, in this process ethanol, that is C2H5OH, alcohol is produced as a primary product and ester and other alcohols as secondary products. So during this fermentation process, what is the main alcohol which is produced? The main alcohol which is produced is ethanol. Okay, the alcohol which is used for drinking purposes. Okay, spirit and other alcohols can be obtained from ethanol. Now spirit is also alcohol, but it is not the alcohol which we drink. First of all, you should understand that alcohols are of different types. Okay, it is not the only thing which we drink. Alcohol means the main thing which comes into our mind is the one which we drink. Okay, we means people drink. Okay, so the people drink alcohol. Which is that alcohol? The alcohol is ethanol. There are other alcohols also like methanol, propanol, butanol, pentanol. All these alcohols people don't drink. They are used for different purposes in different industries. Okay, methanol is used as a spirit. You might have seen spirit lamp. Okay, otherwise the spirit, the alcohol which is present in Dettol. Okay, people don't drink Dettol, do they? They don't drink Dettol. Why they don't drink Dettol? Because it is a disinfectant. It is mainly containing methanol, which is an alcohol, but it is not good for drinking purposes. Okay, so this one is ethanol, which is produced with the help of yeast on molasses. Okay, spirit and other alcohols can be obtained from ethanol. Ethanol is also a smokeless and high quality fuel. You may underline that statement. It is a very important statement. Besides molasses, maize, barley and other grains are also used for industrial production of ethanol. Glucose and fructose, the sugars present in grape juice, are also fermented with the help of yeast to produce the alcohol which is used for making wines. Okay. Now, the question which you could be getting from here is the name of yeast, that is Saccharomyces. On their action on molasses, what do they mainly produce? They mainly produce ethanol. Okay, that is these are the main points in that paragraph. Now, towards the right, use your brain power. Recently, it has been made compulsory in India and some other countries to mix 10% ethanol with fuels like petrol and diesel. What is the reason for this? Okay, the main reason is there in the other box which I had told you to underline. Ethanol is a smokeless and high quality fuel. It is smokeless. The answer is there in the notes. You may refer to the notes, but I will discuss. Ethanol is a smokeless and high quality fuel. Its addition reduces the emission of unwanted particulate matter. That means when petrol is burned, there are unwanted gases which are emitted into the atmosphere. Okay, the addition of ethanol reduces the emission of unwanted particles. So ethanol is added to petrol or diesel. Okay, now the second question. Why are wineries located near Nasik in Maharashtra? Okay, these all you might be knowing. Nasik is a place where a large amount of grapes are cultivated. Okay, so if a company is situated, if an industry is situated at a place where the raw material is easily available, then it could reduce the cost of transport of raw material. Okay, that is the most important reason. I repeat, the cost of transport of raw material could be reduced if it is situated there, if the industry of alcohol is situated there. Okay, so the reason, wines are prepared using grapes, maximum cultivation is in Nasik, so for easy transport the companies or the industries are situated at Nasik. Chapatis made from wheat only swell up, but bread becomes spongy, soft and easy to digest. Why is it so? Okay, in chapatis basically we don't add yeast or baking soda or anything. Isn't it? Now baking soda is a chemical, it is not yeast. Okay, now yeast is added to bread which produces carbon dioxide, due to which it swells. Whereas in case of chapatis we don't add yeast, so it does not swell. Okay, it's swelling, whatever its swelling is there, it is only due to the trapped air inside. Okay, now that is about the 3 questions of use your brain power. Now below that there is a box that is bioremediation. Bioremediation, remedy. What is the meaning of remedy? Remedy means some type of treatment. Okay, cure which is possible. Bioremediation means it is cure or treatment with the help of microorganisms, or bio means living things. So bioremediation means remedy with the help of living things, that is microorganisms. This paragraph is important. Objective type questions will be asked from this part. Yeast, that is Yarovia lipolytica, is used to absorb the toxins released during the production of palm oil and heavy metals and minerals released in some other industrial processes. Okay, this is a fill in the blank. Saccharomyces cerevisiae, okay, this is again yeast, is used for absorption of pollutant arsenic. Oil spills in oceans are cleaned with the help of Alkanivorax bacteria. They have given examples of 3. You have to mark the name of those 3 examples and what do they do. Okay, where is its action. Understood? Now we will see the next clip. Now the next topic, that is antibiotics. You might have heard about the term antibiotics. What is the definition of antibiotics? It is the carbon compounds obtained from some bacteria and fungi. Carbon compounds obtained from some bacteria and fungi for destroying and preventing the growth of harmful microorganisms are called antibiotics. Okay, so antibiotics are available in the form of tablets or in the form of syrups. For small children it is available in the form of syrups. For elders it is given in the form of tablets. Okay, they are chemicals which is actually produced by microorganisms. Okay, in antibiotics companies, we are having an antibiotic company here, that is Hindustan Antibiotics in Pimpri. Okay, which produces antibiotics. These antibiotics are active, okay, are used against bacterial diseases and protozoan diseases. Okay, so there is antibiotics available for different types of diseases. So actually what is antibiotics? Antibiotics are compounds which are produced by one microorganism against another microorganism. I repeat, antibiotics are chemicals produced by one microorganism against another microorganism. Now what do? We grow that useful microorganism. Okay, the useful microorganism means, consider penicillin. Penicillin is an antibiotic which is produced by Penicillium, which is a fungi. Okay, so we will grow fungi. make it produce penicillin, and we will take that penicillin, make it into tablets, make it into injections, and it is used for treatment of different diseases. So basically, what is antibiotic? They are carbon compounds obtained from some bacteria and fungi for destroying and preventing the growth of harmful microorganisms are called as antibiotics. There are two types of antibiotics: broad spectrum antibiotics and narrow spectrum antibiotics. Some antibiotics we can use those antibiotics against several diseases, several microorganisms. Okay, that means the broad spectrum antibiotics are able to kill many microorganisms, many bacteria at a time. Okay, so whenever the doctor doesn't know due to which organism the disease is, okay, a patient has come and the doctor, he has told all the symptoms to the doctor, but the doctor is not able to make up due to which microorganism the disease could be. Okay, he cannot decide which type of microorganism it could be or which type of infection it is. Okay, then at that time what he will do? He will prescribe a broad spectrum antibiotic, okay, which is able to kill many type of bacteria. Okay, now so what is broad spectrum antibiotic? Antibiotics useful against a wide range of bacteria. Example: ampicillin, amoxicillin, tetracycline, etc. Narrow spectrum means whenever a pathogenic organism is known. Pathogenic means which is able to cause a disease. Pathogen is the microorganism which is causing a disease. So whenever a pathogenic organism is definitely known, that means the doctor have understood from the symptoms or from the tests which he have done. Sometimes the doctor tell us to do some tests. From those tests, he can understand which type of microorganism is causing the infection. So if he knows the type of microorganism, then he can prescribe a particular definite antibiotic which can definitely kill that microorganism. Such antibiotics are called as narrow spectrum antibiotics. So whenever a pathogenic organism is definitely known, then narrow spectrum antibiotics are used. Example: penicillin, gentamicin, erythromycin, etc. These examples are very important. You have to learn these examples. This question is not there in the exercise, but it could be asked. What is the question? What is meant by antibiotic? What are the types of antibiotics? You have to write these 3 points. It is a 3-mark question. Don't forget to write the examples. They are very important. Okay. Now you may take page number 91. Page number 91. Antibiotics. They have, in the first paragraph they have given the definition of antibiotics. In the second paragraph they have told about broad spectrum antibiotics, and the third about narrow spectrum antibiotics. Now there is a box below about the National Institute of Virology, established in 1952 in Pune, undertakes research related to diseases like measles, jaundice, fever, and diseases of the lungs with support from the World Health Organization. Okay, just you should be knowing the name of the particular institute, that is National Institute of Virology. Now the next is page number 92. The topic is penicillin. Penicillin is the name of an antibiotic. Okay, penicillin is the name of an antibiotic. It was discovered by the scientist called Alexander Fleming. The organism which produces penicillin is Penicillium, which is a fungi. It is able to fight against different diseases caused due to microorganisms called as Staphylococci, Streptococci, Clostridium, etc. These are the names of some bacteria which causes diseases. Okay, Staphylococci, Clostridium, etc. causes food poisoning. You might have heard about food poisoning. Okay. Now the first paragraph: penicillin is a group of antibiotic obtained from a fungus, Penicillium, and is used for controlling the infections caused by bacteria like Staphylococci, Clostridia, Streptococci, etc. Medicines containing penicillin are useful to treat certain bacterial infections of the ear, nose, throat, and skin, as well as diseases like pneumonia and scarlet fever. It is a fever, bacterial fever, scarlet fever. Okay. Now, on the left hand side, there is a box of caution. Okay, that is the points which you have to remember while taking an antibiotic. That question is also asked. There are 5 points. You have to write all those 5 points, or minimum 4 points. Antibiotics should be taken only when prescribed by a doctor. You cannot take a medicine on your own, a medicine especially antibiotic. Okay. Don't purchase any antibiotic from medical stores without the prescription from a doctor. Don't consume antibiotics on your own to treat common diseases like a throat infection, common cold, and influenza. Okay, so for common cold, for throat infection, generally what do people do? They go to the medical shops and buy antibiotics and take it on their own without going to the doctor. Okay, but going to doctor is very important, because doctor can decide which type of antibiotic has to be given. Okay, now even if you feel well before completing of the prescribed course of the antibiotic, you must continue and complete it. Okay, so if the doctor has prescribed the medicine for 5 days and within 2 days you are feeling okay, still you have to continue taking the medicines for the 5 days. Okay, people have the habit of taking the medicines after they start feeling okay, better, isn't it? So we don't take the medicines which are remaining afterwards. It is not like that. Whatever prescribed course is given, that we have to complete. Don't suggest to others the antibiotics which were useful to you. So we have a habit of telling others, this was useful to me, you also may take it. Okay, it would be useful to you also. We generally give advice to people. That is not good. Okay, you must not be taking any medicine on your own. You have to go to the doctor first, see the doctor first, take his prescription, and then do the treatment. Okay, so out of these 5 points, whatever 4 points are important, you may write that. Now towards the right, introduction to scientists. Alexander Fleming, a professor of microbiology at St. Mary's Hospital, had cultured varieties of bacteria and fungi in petri dishes in his laboratory. Cultured means grown. Now, what do you mean by a petri dish? You might have seen it in a laboratory. It is a dish which is having a lid, okay, in laboratories. Inside that there is a medium, and on the medium the fungi and the bacteria can grow. So in his laboratories he was doing some experiment. So he had grown some fungi and bacteria in a petri dish. Okay, he had kept it aside for some days. After some days, it was seen that around the fungi there was no other organism growing. Okay, around the fungi there was no other organism growing. Why? That he was not knowing. He found out that the fungi was producing some type of chemical which prevented the others from growing. This led to the discovery of penicillin. So, on 3rd September 1928, while observing staphylococci cultures, he made an interesting observation in one petri dish. In that petri dish, fungal colonies had grown, but the area around those colonies were clean and clear. That is, bacteria around them had actually been destroyed. After further studies, he confirmed that the fungus growing there was penicillium, and its secretion had destroyed the bacterial colonies. Thus, the first antibiotic, penicillin, had been discovered accidentally, and this formed the basis for attempts to find cures for incurable diseases. Okay, shouldn't we always be grateful to Alexander Fleming for discovering the life-saving antibiotics? Yes. Now there is a box below, wonderful to know. It is a very important box which several students miss to read. Wonderful to know. Ants grow fungi in their termitarium, that is ant hill, and obtain food from it. Some species of wasps and other insects lay their eggs in the fungal bodies growing on trees, thus ensuring a food supply for their larvae. This paragraph is very important. Okay, you may mark and keep. So this much about the useful microorganisms. So what are the useful microorganisms which we studied? We studied about lactobacillus, we studied about rhizobium, then yeast and penicillium. Okay, these are the useful microbes which we are having the study about. Out of these, which questions are important? The important question was about lactobacilli, about penicillium and about antibiotics. Okay, now I'll give you the homework. So this is the homework for you today. What is meant by antibiotic? What are its types? Explain. You have to write it according to the textbook. You have to write the examples of broad spectrum and narrow spectrum antibiotics. Write a note on bioremediation. There will be 3 points about 3 organisms and their action. Okay, thank you.